best of 3 here. And that means we'll have Kevz home map. And he's chosen Xenodes for this one. So it's a very Arabia-like map, but with some more tropical touch to it. Some palms or jungle trees. And some ponds here there could make walling a bit more awkward. Some hills as we see in Arabia. And there is a little bit of shore fish. It could justify fish booming actually in these ponds, but it's not customary to do so. Let's have a chat about the sieves here first. Japanese for Kevz. I like this pick for this one, not necessarily for the fish and all that stuff, but because Japanese have a great men-at-arms into archers opening, because they're fuel age. From fuel age, their infantry attack 25% faster. That means that if you send, if you're with equal numbers of men-at-arms against the opponent, if he's prone to go men-at-arms as well, they will attack faster, you will have an easier time winning the fights. Coops90 with another strong, very strong open map civilization with the Mongols here. Mongols always likely to go scouts because they gather the hunt 40% faster, which really boosts their early food income. And again, that facilitates an early feudal age. You could even argue that Mongols could go 18 population scouts and still be able to afford the eco upgrades and scouts in the next age. So you could be seeing an early scouts opening here from Coops. Main gold in the back for Coops, great map for him here. 2 woodlands in the back as well. Has some walling potentially, but the right hand side is pretty open if you don't count this side. Could maybe wall here maybe. And yeah, we'll probably connect these woodlands here or something with a wall and he should be okay. For Kev's side, main gold in the back, that's great news. Although they do spawn pretty closely together here. Well, not close, but also could have been much further. Back gold, main back gold. Walls towards the pond here, maybe. I think it will walls towards the shore here. Or maybe just use the cliff here and here to get some kind of walls up. Looks a bit more awkward to full wall Kev's side of the map. Maybe just use the stones here as natural barrier wall here towards the berries and to the back to limit any forward early aggression here. So nothing is to discourage Japanese from going scouts either. I mean, when they save a lot of wood for their eco buildings, cost only 50 wood for lumber camps, mining camps, mills. So that facilitates even scouts production, that you will have more wood for farms, for the food eco, or for the buildings needed to produce the army. But I think still that Japanese go-to play would be men-at-arms archers, which we saw Kevz doing with Franks in the first game, so it's also a familiar build order he is familiar with. Something Coops knows by now, of course, and might be suspecting that that could be happening. Very unlucky border here for Coops, going for the gold and kind of blocking the Wither going back for the board here, so might be having some third game jitters here. So now I'm kind of running out of things to talk about for the time being, so I'm just going to toggle the fast forward button and try to get into the feudal age action here, if any. See some halls providing a little bit of walling here. Looks like a rough start for Coops here. Did lose one villager and did not complete the mill either, so his food eco could be a little bit troublesome here. Goes for some very extensive long distance hunting here. He mills the deer, loses his scout to enemy TC. That's never good news, unfortunately. And if Kevz is on the alert here now, he could see this side hunt being taken. That's really going to boost the food score for Coops though. So actually I wouldn't necessarily discourage long distance milling like this. He is dropping the barracks just now, so he's going to struggle for wood for the stables if he's going for the scouts here. But yet again, food looks great. Could still be getting to that stables without too much delay here. Kevz with 22 popped off actually hasn't clicked up yet, and has the barracks at ready here. Feudal age just now on the way. Could be seeing some very late men-at-arms here, as feudal age is in for Coops, definitely going for the scouts here. And look at the army numbers 3 military for Kevz, so it should mean 1 scout and 2 men-at-arms in the barracks here, or militia rather. 2 B men-at-arms is heavily housed, so we'll have to wait for the last one here, and this is actually a pretty late men-at-arms openings, all things considered. But they still attack faster, should be able to contest scouts as well, and Coops' scouts opening was delayed as well due to lack of wood and some unfortunate losses to war and such here. Kevz floating ridiculous amounts of wood right now, should have no trouble dropping 2 ranges and even a blacksmith here and get straight into that archer's production, so that works to his favor. Here come the militia, also called Angry Housewives on my channel, with their rolling pins in their hands here. Scouts run forward, will be passing the shelter in here, no problem. Unfortunately, that's one of the downsides of trying to wall C-notes. And it's going to be a total of 4 men-at-arms for Kevz here, moving forward into Coops' base. Sees the wares, this might be his point of interest here. There's no hunt left to be obstructed here, but maybe Kevz has been on this side as well, knowing that there's some hunt there. He has some scouts to deal with in his base. Quick-ish walls going up here, but doesn't quite secure the woodland. One villager could go down here, as both ranges go up, unfortunately, in the back here for Kevz. Maybe in the effort to try and conceal them from the enemy attention, but then again, if you see men-at-arms in a base from Japanese, you could suspect the archers follow-up. Kevz about to get men-at-arms, did take some losses to TC fire here, but still with 4 men-at-arms alive. 1 villager outside here walling, so that's an easy target. Looks like Kevz doesn't want to attack with his infantry until men-at-arms kicks in though, it's just chilling out here. May have something to attend to at home as well. The overall military very much in favor of Kevz though. Goes straight for the walls. There are some exposed builds in the woodland here, something that Coops could quick wall while he's busy with the bears here. But Kevz, faster attacking men-at-arms, after all, chases away some villagers, causes some idle time here, as 1 scout is still forward for Coops90, but goes down to a spearman. Kevz with 4 men-at-arms, still alive, trying to chase villagers here. Good job at that, but risks losing some to TC fire right now. 3, 1 down, almost 2. Gets away just in time to save all 3 of them, but one of them really weak now, down to 6 HP. Finds a villager, will get some pickles here, and Coops90's eco seems to be in a struggle here. 10 on food, none on gold just yet. Went for the scouts with no immediate follow-up. Has the wood for a range here though, so could drop an archer range for skirmisher defense here, which is something his eco is kind of set up for here. Kevz now on the forward extends his walls here, trying to keep any further aggression out of his opponent here. Scout even dives in to find a weak villager here, will get a pick off for sure, and Kevz behind the villagers though, been neglecting some TC production here, is getting pick-offs, and that's going to even out the eco just a little bit, but he does sacrifice his scout here to idle the berries of Coops90, who now goes into an archer range, suspecting, if not knowing, that archer's follow-up is coming for Kevz. He has scouted a little bit here, so he knows about the ranges. So men-at-arms still alive. Scouts come here to clean up, so that means Coops90 has invested more food into scouts here. Cleans up the men-at-arms, though they were all weak, so that's an easy match for the scouts. Full walls. More or less in place for Kevz here, just missing this section now, and it should be good. I don't know if he lost a villager here or what happened. And for the time being, no army offensive happening, but archers now on the forwards. A threatening number of archers to follow up the men-at-arms. They are now 11 of them. Some peculiar walls from Kevz here, considering that this side is still open on that side. And the archers will have to pass through these walls, but also lacking scouting intel here for Kevz, so probably not aware of this whole section here being open. actually traps his own archers here now for the time being, but that's just a matter of deleting your own walls and let them through and you're fine. I like the addition of a spearman in the mix here for the archers. Keep them together so that you have an easier time taking out enemy army like scouts. 3 spears here total, but even archers with fetching would easily contest just a couple of enemy scouts like this, of course. Kevz now moving forward, looking for resources. Doesn't look like Coops is on... There he is on gold. He's on the main gold here. Setting up for the castle click. Actually getting closer here, missing on just 100 food and some gold, but that means that Kevz is arriving at just the right moment here to potentially get some snipes here. Might even wall in the enemy aggression here, but this could mean some serious losses for Coops here, who is with an 7 villager lead after all, so Kevz needs to do some serious damage here. Sits on the gold, that's the only gold that Coops has access to at this moment. Losing villagers 35 to 32 now, villager numbers quickly evening out here. And Coops with scout not really in a position to deal too much damage, it's 1 weak scout for him. Spearman chasing here, archers picking up villagers, and 34 to 32 now. Kevz is about to get back into the villager leading position here, but he's not producing villagers at home, so he's not really buying himself the advantage considering he's not following up production at home, but there's a lot of idle time on his opponent. Massive military lead for Kevz still, and it's just going to camp this gold of his opponent. I think finds an opening here. More kills. Still no idle TC for long here for Kevz, so that's so even killing off villagers won't make too much of a difference here as long as Kevz doesn't replenish his own here. He might be idling the TC for the cast age kick here actually, but idling the TC in general is never a good idea. Just keep your production and yeah, you just can't rely on killing off enough villagers to sustain your villager lead while idling for going to the next stage, I think. Massive kills here for Kevz though, it's 32 to 29 overall here. Spears in the mixed skirms from Coops90, he did have that range after all. Kevz can click the castle age now, he has the buildings and the resources for it. But TC remains idle for now. Is of course busy with the archers micro forwards that does obstruct with other actions here. Castle age click finally for Kevz, and now we're going into the castle age with a villager lead of 3 here. Coops90 only missing 10 gold now to click up and gets stopped on the gold again. Doesn't have a market, so he's desperate for that last 9 gold to get to the castle age, and this could be a devastating blow to Coops90. He keeps losing villagers and is not able to get to that next age. He's also not producing from TC, hoping to get enough gold to get to that next age. Kev hasn't stopped looking at Coop's face for at least 5 minutes. Yeah, exactly. That could actually show the view lock here. Well, now he's in space, but... I'm going to out-micro some skirts here. Don't need to make vills if you can kill their vills. That's kind of true, but how do you know though? Coops was 8 villagers ahead. So... But Kevz definitely fortifying his position, you know, he's going to reach the castle age by good margins here, losing military numbers on the way, but has more military numbers waiting at home or on the way forward. Yeah, he's on this side as well. Crossbow will be kicking in, and then feudal age skirms suddenly won't be that much of a threat anymore. They're mainly focusing on the spears now, something that Kevz most certainly can handle to lose. Both TCs idle going into the castle age here, and Kevz will have a stronger eco in the castle age after all, considering all the villager kills he did get here. Goes them back now, is going to get that crossbow upgrade and has some preemptive spearmen in case Coops brings knights to the field, I guess. Coops with the scouts, maybe for scouting purposes, maybe for enemy skirms. I'm sure skirms and scouts here. Not too well. It's not too bad actually. You could use the scouts as a meat shield against enemy archers forward, and then they use the skirmishers to hit the what's soon to be crossbows of the Kevz here. Yeah, it was some impressive archers' attention there, Kevz, but just use that TC hotkey a bit more consistently, and you will see yourself having a much larger lead in the going into the castle age. Coops with Castledge as well, not in a position to tech Elite Skirmisher just yet. He's been struggling a lot for gold, something Kevz kept him consistently away from. Might run in again. Knights in the mix for Kevz here now, no upgrades obviously, but more than enough to deal with the enemy now. Still a few Ledge Skirmishers here. Coops goes to Stone, wants to get to Mangadai or simply a defensive castle against Archer's aggression, but will again lose more interest. 26 villagers is nothing to brag about being in the castle age, and the eco looks very, very fragile for Coops at the moment. Now falling behind almost 10 villagers due to the forward here. Kevz getting some nice hits in here. If I didn't know whether I thought Kevz even had ballistics here, but because he's hitting nicely, he's picking off so many, 36 to 24 now. Kevz producing off his TC at home as well, so he's going to fortify that villager lead, forcing Coops to idle his TC, and the GG gets called. Dominant display from Kevz here, but not as dominant that Coops couldn't challenge it, because there was some lots of idle time from Kevz at his TC as well. But GG, well played indeed. Let's look at the stats here, and that's going to be my last cast for today. Thanks for casting, no problem, it was a pleasure. Good games overall, thanks for the tip as well.